All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, January 24th, around 6:30 in the afternoon here in Boston, Massachusetts. With you, as always, your co-host, Chris Jones, your main host, Diego Galvez. This is Yellow Card Podcast, episode 68, starting right now, brought to you by Couchcare Sports and sponsored by Exogon and Shocked Energy. If you haven't checked out Shocked Energy, Chris right now is wearing gear from them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hoodies that they sell. Definitely recommend that you check them out. Use our code CGSN for 10% off of your order today. Get some energy going for you. Some motivation, some focus. Like I said, some energy as well. And the ship worldwide. So might as well take care of yourself while you're at it. For Exogon, make sure you use the code CGS10. Save 10% off of your order today. And listen, take care of yourself as well. Get the massage in. Episode 68, like I said, starting right now. A lot to talk about because what started off as a very quiet week has turned out to be probably one of the juiciest weeks so far in this transfer window. But we'll start with some breaking news that we have right now. The first one, not so much of a breaking news now, but it is news today. Claudio Ranieri officially sacked by Watford after 3 months of being at the helm of this club. Watford not content with where they are right now on the English Premier League, looking at possible relegation, and therefore they felt that it was best to do some changes, and therefore Claudio Ranieri has been sacked. Chris, any thoughts on the news?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those what's the word I want to use here? It's one of those stories where you wish this guy nothing but success in his tenure here at Watford, but it just didn't work out. He had a little stretch at the beginning of the season where he was a menace to these top Premier League teams. They were beating them the whole 9 yards, but now it's getting into the fold. The season's half over. You're trying to avoid relegation. You want to stay in the Premier League. He just wasn't getting the job done.
Yeah.
So with that being said, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good.
But so with that being said, I do think that they gave him enough time to try and figure this little situation out. But I think they're going to get a guy that's going to help them stay afloat and remain in the Premier League next year.
So I don't know if there's much that you can do right now for Watford. Claudio Ranieri is one of those guys that people highly overlook, but people tend to forget that this is the guy that brought Leicester City back to the English Premier League after long time. This is the guy that won the Premier League with Leicester City, that created the unforgettable season they had. This is a guy that has a lot of mentality to be able to bring teams like Watford and so on and so forth into the realm of things. The problem is that I think for Watford, in my opinion, I think they expected immediate results just because they brought him in without really giving him much to work with. There isn't much at Watford right now that you can work with other than Deeney and their goalie right now. That's really it. I think it would have been essential for them to let Ranieri do some transfer window moves, let him, get some opportunities out there to see how if he could turn it around. But with that being not the case, I think at this point right now they put themselves in an even tougher situation because now you're having to bring in a coach that's going to have to not only acclimate to the culture of your team and of the fan base, but also realize what is actually wrong with the team and where he needs to improve it. So good luck to Watford on their search. There's big names being already rumored to go there. One of them being, Lampard, because he's out of a job right now. He's been looking for a job. But again, we'll find out when Watford has a manager, and we'll make sure to post that on our Twitter handle at Podcast Card. The secondary breaking news that we have at the moment is Anthony Martial has finally agreed to a loan deal that will bring him to Sevilla in Spain, brings him to La Liga and brings him to some opportunities where he could be their main striker for that team. Um, it's been a while since Anthony Martial has voiced that he's wanted out of Manchester United to kind of try some new things. He's been an outcast for about a season and a half now. Um, it was reported not too long ago during the Rangnick era that he was one of the most pessimistic guys in the locker room, which I kind of believe it just based on the demeanor that he carries. But wishing Anthony Martial nothing but luck in Sevilla, hoping that this is the move that will reignite his confidence as a player. Because I gotta be honest with you, that game against West Ham, he did okay, but it wasn't anything that really impressed to make him be a first team immediate push for Rednick. What are your thoughts on the move for Marshall?
Jeez, sorry. I mean, I think it's going to be good to see to see him in a different setting and to get him a look in a league like the Liga, which I think he might be able to strive in.
Mm-hmm.
The way the Premier League is shaping up, he can't keep up with it. So I think this is good for both sides because not only does Manchester United get the pessimism, like you said, out of the locker room, but now I think for United standpoint, okay, we got one. What's the next move we're making? Because this window is closing soon and we need to make a move. So in order to do that, we have to get this done. And that was a move that they desperately needed to get done, and they did it. Shout out to both sides. Anthony Martial, I think, is going to be a great striker for Sevilla.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Like I said, just wishing him nothing but best of luck over there in Sevilla, and hoping that he does his thing over there. But moving on from the breaking news, we also have a potential groundbreaking move that will bring one of our local heroes here, Matt Turner, to England as a backup goalie for Arsenal. Um, we heard about the move potentially happening. The Arsenal management team looking to make a bid for Matt Turner, and it looks very similar to that of Zach Steffen when he was brought out from the Columbus Crew. Which gotta be honest with you, I think this move for Turner is a life changing move, especially at the age of 27, where he's got so much ground to still cover and so much talent to deliver. He's been phenomenal for the United States national team, and nothing short of outstanding for the Revolution. What are your thoughts on this move for Turner? And I guess it's a two-part question. Number one, what do you think of the move? And number two, what does that say about Revolution's talent right now?
The move itself, it's a good move for him career wise, like you said. He gets him more exposure, and realistically, he has the shot to be the number one goaltender for Arsenal. They don't like Bernard Leno. Aaron Ramsdale is good, but he's not great. So he can fill that void and come right in and be who he is. I think could be very beneficial to a guy like Matt Turner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just the way his style is, like you said, comparing him to the acquisition of Zach Steffen, I think he can fit into this league, and I think he could start for the majority of these clubs right now.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. I think if it's just for him to be a backup goalie and really not get any opportunity, I think it's a waste of time there. In a way, it is kind of a waste of time, I would say. It gives him the exposure that he kind of needs anyways to get his foot out there and show what he's capable of. But being stagnant to a backup goalie position, not sure that that's the best use of a goalie that's been flourishing at the level that he's been flourishing. I think for Revolution, though, it speaks of a lot of good things going on for that team. Number one, the management behind the team right now. Bruce Arena continues to develop world-class talent out of here. I mean, we've seen that DeJuan Jones already developing to be a phenomenal defender for U.S. men's national team. We've seen Turner deliver. We've seen Tajan Buchanan look real good. So gotta be honest. I gotta hand it to Bruce here because he's done a phenomenal job with this team and has really been delivering to the standards that haven't been seen in quite a long time here in New England. So congratulations to Bruce. Congratulations to Matt Turner. Hoping that this move happens. And for you New England Revolution fans, nothing to panic about. We got Brad Knighton already signed an extension contract with us. He was solid as a replacement for Matt Turner whenever he was missing. And we can make another move as soon as if this move for Matt Turner definitely is made. There's a lot of cash to be made that can be utilized towards an up and coming goalie that we can grab. Moving on, more transfer window stuff. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of activity happening here. Fabrizio has been actually rather busy. So Fabrizio Romano, if you guys do not follow Fabrizio Romano yet, I recommend that you do. Great sports insider for all things soccer and whatnot. Definitely recommend following him. Chris, what are your thoughts on all the action so far in the transfer window?
I mean, so far it's been good. We definitely need a little more firepower. Like we need some big names going somewhere. But I mean, with it being a week away, all we're getting right now is a bunch of rumors. I think there's a couple guys that I would love to see get moved. Frank Kessie is definitely one. Having him come to the Premier League, no matter where he goes, would be a good fit for him. Having Adama Traore move on from Wolves to anybody would be good. And then the other one was, who was it? It was, I'm drawing a blank. But there are some names that definitely should be more so talked about right now. Yep. Like obviously we have the Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. That's pushed to the summer. No one's worried about that right now. But in order for some teams to be making moves to get further into competitions such as the Europa League, the Champions League, to get into the top four of your current league, they need to be able to make some moves. And in order to do that, I mean, I don't know. Somebody's going to make a big move and a big splash, and you're going to sit there and go, that's the move. That is the move that puts them above.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I don't know exactly. It could be such as Liverpool getting a guy like Ronaldo Sanchez, or Chelsea getting someone to solidify that midfield, or City just spending more money just to solidify that team even more. Something along those lines. We're going to get something in the next week. Just be ready for it. I don't know what it is exactly, but just be ready for it.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, right now, one of the bigger moves happening right now is Blahovic being targeted by Juventus. Looks like Juventus is looking to send a proposal over the next couple hours and get that conversation going. Which, if the move does happen, it triggers a potential opportunity for Alvaro Morata to transfer over to Barcelona on a loan deal basis, which would be phenomenal for him. It all depends on how soon these people move and how quick they make things happen. But more so than anything, I think the clubs that we've seen kind of been rumored a lot and be heavily busy so far in this transfer window has been people like Newcastle, like Aston Villa, who have been revamping that midfield like crazy. Just most recently right now, United with shipping Anthony Martial off of their roster. It's just it's a matter of, like you said, getting more and more of these moves happening and quickly. Because at what point does it no longer matter if it's a rumor or not? You start to see more of like, show me that it's happening and then I'll believe it kind of situation. Also Nicolas Tagliafico is also being targeted by Barcelona as well. So we'll see what Ajax decides to do with that move as well. But for now, gotta be honest, it started off as a really, really fun transfer window, but it's kind of dived off. It's kind of dipped real fast. And I wonder if that's just more of a economical impact that this pandemic has, has kind of taken on all leagues across Europe because it's still going on, or if it's more of managers actually just realizing that they need to be far more careful with their money right now and manage them more appropriately to actually get the signings that they want, um, and get the areas that they need to improve in actual good hands rather than just signing players just to sign them and hoping for the best. But that does it for the transfer window. Moving on, this past weekend, Manchester United versus West Ham United, head to head. What a phenomenal game! I think this was by far probably the best we've seen Manchester United play under the new era of Ralph Rangnick. Uh, the team looked really, really good in all aspects. Defensively, um, they were physical, attacking, quick, and then nevertheless, the midfield over to the forwards, they really show that high press system that Rennick is known for. And while West Ham held off for a really good amount of time with United, I gotta be honest, that goal collaboration between Marshall, Cavani, and Marcus Rashford, that was a thing of absolute beauty. I don't know if you watched the game, but if you did, Chris, what are your thoughts? Because right now Manchester United is back on the top 5 for the English Premier League. They're sitting in 4th place right now. Could this be shades of what we can expect from Manchester United very, very soon, as well as Rennick continues to work through to the situation there?
I mean, I desperately wouldn't be surprised, but West Ham did not look their best on the road at Old Trafford in this matchup. Moving forward, I mean, you have to see what their schedule looks like coming up.
Mhm.
And with that being said, we have a nice little break here. We don't play again in the Premier League until February 8th. You have Burnley at Burnley, which is tough.
Mhm.
Host Southampton. You got Leeds, and then you get ready. You're right back into the Champions League talk. So and then you have the FA Cup 4th round against Middlesbrough Friday, February 4th.
Mhm.
So you're getting around the easy part of your schedule. So this is what you should win. But Burnley on the road, when you go to Burnley, everybody always gets their worst. I'm sorry, everybody always plays their worst game against Burnley at Burnley, no matter what. Southampton gave you guys trouble earlier in the year at Southampton, so this would be a good bounce back spot for you guys if necessary. And then Leeds is a team that you guys should be able to beat.
Yeah.
And then the schedule. It's just looking down in the Premier League. After that, you go Watford. Then it gets tough. At City, hosting Tottenham, at Liverpool. That 3-game span right there, where you have even that 4-game span, because after Watford, to start off the month of March, you have 4 games. I'm sorry, in the month of March, you have 4 games right now. At City for the Manchester Derby, home versus Tottenham. The second leg, home against Atletico. Then you have to go to Anfield and play Liverpool. Those are 4 critical games that are going to solidify what this team will look like the rest of the season.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think more importantly as well, when you look at a team like Chelsea right now that was struggling to get back into their own ways, I think if you Ralph Rangnick, I think you kind of take opportunity here and really start working faster into getting more on the top 3 tier of things here. I think his system clearly works. It's been delivering so far in the past couple of weeks. He hasn't had bad results either. He took over this team where they were basically 9th place. So for them to quickly make the jump over to 4th place, while there's a lot of drama to be worked through in that locker room, I gotta be honest, whether you guys believe or not on the tactics that this guy has, they are working. They are working. Um, it's funny because the media lately wanted to portray an issue with Ronaldo and Ralph Renick because Ronaldo was substituted in the 75th minute. But what people fail to realize is that Ronaldo also came back to that game after having some issues with his hip flexor and some minor maintenance things that he needed to address. But that Renick took so seriously and didn't want to risk that he just said to him, be out of the team for the next couple of weeks, take your time and come back. It's called taking care of the players, and a lot of these players who are that competitive don't often look that way, but when they do and when they realize it, they want to do whatever it takes for that manager because they realize how much they really really care for them. So, what are your thoughts though on this top four though? Because this starting to look very interesting very soon.
Right now, it looks
with only what, like 14, 15 games left?
so some teams have to play 16 because of the COVID postponements. Some have to play 17 still. But for the majority, I mean, and then you have Tottenham who has to play 18 still. But that's a different story for a different day. But at the beginning of the year, you, myself, and Andrew always talked about the top four being something along the lines of City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United in no particular order. So this is something that we've foreseen coming, and I think it stays this way. Arsenal's struggled as of late. They need to get their act together if they want to finish in the top four. West Ham's going to be a thorn. It's going to come down to, realistically, 4 teams are going to be fighting for that top four, that 4th spot. And United, West Ham, Arsenal, and Tottenham. Those 4 teams are going to be competing for that 4th spot. 1 to 3 in no particular order: City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Chelsea is 9 points ahead currently of Manchester United, with 2 games at hand.
Yep.
So anything can happen, but I mean, City. There's no way City falls below 2nd place the rest of the year. I would be shell shocked if they fall any lower than that.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but
I agree.
I think this top 4. It's going to be interesting to see because this is exactly what's going to happen. Ready for this? West Ham is going to be the Leicester City of the last 2 years.
Yeah,
they're going to solidify.
I can see that.
They're going to solidify in the top 4, and on the last day of games, they're going to falter. And United's just going to steal that spot. Literally, what's going to happen?
I can absolutely see that, and I mean, it kind of is already happening, and it happens a lot to David Moyes as well. He has one tremendous season where he absolutely delivers above and beyond the line of duty. Then another season where his team starts to fall a little bit late in the game. And then the next season after that is just chaos. Just pure chaos. I'm hoping that this doesn't turn out to be a chaotic situation for West Ham because realistically, that team has a lot of talent. A lot of talent to work with. It's a solid team with a very good foundation. It's just all depends on how David Moyes works it here.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at everything that I'm looking at right now, West Ham has a chance. This roster is very talented, like you said. But don't be surprised if they don't get Champions League football next year. Don't be surprised if Declan Rice looks to go elsewhere.
Well, I mean, Declan Rice has been heavily linked with a move to Manchester United, especially if United are to move on from Pogba and Donny van de Beek. So could we see Declan Rice be the next partner to Scott McTominay or Fred? Who knows? But I do think that for Declan, it's definitely time to move on from West Ham. He needs a new scenery. He, like you said, he's so talented that he will work perfectly in one of these top 5 teams in the Premier League currently.
Well, also too, even thinking about West Ham as well, they have Europa League to worry about as well. It's not like they're just worrying about the Premier League like Arsenal and Tottenham. They have the Europa League to worry about as well. So that's another thing to dive into as well. And we'll get into the Champions League and the Europa League matchups after again at a later time. But looking at these draws, man, I mean, West Ham has a real shot moving on.
They do. They do. I mean, this year could be the year where they can go and win the Europa League and then, fall to sixth, maybe seventh place in the Premier League, but still have a winning season. So who knows?
Anything can happen, but it's just going to be, it will be for sure a good thing to see them in the round of 16. I'm curious to see who they play.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. But with that said, up until right now, that's all we got for you. Episode 68 concludes right now. Make sure that you check out couchguysports.com. Check it out as many times as you can. Make sure you check out Shocked Energy as well. As Chris is rocking that beautiful gear that they got. And make sure to check out Exogun. You can find us on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can find us. Make sure to follow us at Podcast Card. That's our Twitter handle. Until next week, episode 68 ends now. Thank you all for tuning in.